There was an MP from Tharaka-Nithi who told us that in Meru, when you have a miscarriage or when you lose a child through a stillbirth, you're made to sleep sijui with another man who's considered a cleanser in their tribe to cleanse you of that. Hi, my name is Auntie Jemimah. I am a comedian, media personality, and I am a mother. And this is my Bun in the Oven story. So I found out I was pregnant in March of 2021 with my first baby. And I'll start with the feeling. It's not something we had planned. Of course, most people say that the first babies are not planned. So, and just like most people, we had not planned for this one. Period was late, tested, I was excited, but at the same time, I was also scared. Because being a first-time mom, of course, it's scary. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to go about things. Yeah, so the first feeling was scary, but also very excited. The journey of my first pregnancy was beautiful. I always tell people that my pregnancies are very non-dramatic. Number one, I can't tell you if I've had any cravings. I've not had any morning sickness. I've had the best, smoothest pregnancy. However, I developed gestational diabetes at 24 weeks. And this is not something I knew with my first baby. And so I'll take you now back to my first baby. So when I clocked 34 weeks, of course, I was doing the clinics and everything. When I went to my my gyna for the clinic, she told me that you need to do a number of tests, and one of the tests was gestational diabetes. The next week, unfortunately for me, I lost the pregnancy at 34 weeks. Yeah. And so it was one of my lowest moments in my life. I've had so many highlights in my life, and this was actually, I think this was I've never experienced something like that. How it happened is I went to work as usual. I was a radio presenter then. So I've clocked 34 weeks. I'm excited. I'm almost to 40 weeks. And so I joked with the main presenter because I was the co-host, I was the comedian. And I told him, Unajua, soon I'm going to leave you for 3 months and you'll be doing the show alone. So that very day. And he told me, I'm ready for it because I know you'll be coming back. Unknown to me, that was the last day I was going to go to work. Because that evening, after I had dinner, my water broke. Now, again, this is my first pregnancy. I do not even know what is water breaking. I don't know how water breaks. I don't think it was tulikuwa tumefika hapo na daktari ama sikuuliza ama they don't. Majorly, I think they don't give as much information as it should, because from where I sit, women need to be equipped with so much information. You need to know what it means by water breaking, how it feels. You need to know when your membranes rupture, how it feels, what to check out for. So me, I did not know my water broke. I just felt some warm liquid come out, and I went to the toilet. There was more, so I called my midwife. Now, again, let me take you back. I was planning to do a home birth. And so I had started the birth lessons with the midwife. And so immediately I called her. She told me that could be a premature rupture of your membranes. Call your doctor and explain to her what has happened, and then she'll guide you from there, because I think you need to go to hospital. So I called my doctor. She told me go to the hospital now, because I told her after the water broke, after the liquid came out. Now remember, I don't know whether my water has broken. After the warm liquid came out, I started cramping. I started cramping there and there. So she told me go to hospital. So I called Mans. I told him, yo, this has happened. I've been told to go to hospital. Yo, twende. So he came, and we went to hospital. So when you go to the clinic, when you're pregnant, the first thing they check is the heartbeat. I noticed they were struggling to get the heartbeat. And but the last thing on my mind was losing a baby. So I was told we're going to take you to an emergency ultrasound, 2D ultrasound. And so I was wheeled to the ultrasound room, and that is when the sonographer confirmed. She knew. By the time I was going there, she knew. So she just did the normal routine, akapima kichwa, told me this is the head, this is how we are looking. It didn't even hit me there was no activity, because usually when they're doing the what is it called? Pap smear, you can see movement in the womb. So mimi sikuona any movement, but it didn't hit me. So she broke the news and told me, Mercy, unfortunately, there's no fetal activity. And yeah, I'm sorry. And I broke down. I really cried on that day. That very moment I cried. I called my dad. I called my mom. Her phone was off. African mothers, you need to start picking your calls. Sijui shida inakuwaga gani. Her phone was off. So the next person I called was my dad. And I told her, girl, I've been told I've lost the baby. And he asked me, where are you? I told him I'm at Mpisha. And he told me, I'll come. Who are you with? I told him I was with Mans. And he told me, we'll come in the morning. So my dad was in denial. So vile nilimwambia mtoto amekufa haku, because him telling me he'll come in the morning, he thought I did not know what I was saying. And to confirm that, he sent someone who worked in the hospital to come tell me everything will be okay. So the next morning she came and told me, she found me crying and she told me, yo, stop crying, you and baby will be okay. I've been sent by your dad. And I told her, no, there's no fetal activity, there's no heartbeat. I lost the baby. And she told me, yo, but your dad told me something different. He told me, I think alimwambia si yuko sawa. And so that's how I knew my dad was in denial. So now from there is now, so I was induced, next day I was induced to quicken the process. Now when my water broke and I started cramping, I went into labor immediately. So I gave birth the next day I think at 2 p.m. After inducing. I held the baby for a while. And then I remember the nurse asking me if I wanted to go stay with the baby for a while. And I told them no, I didn't want to stay with the baby. To me, I felt like it was going to prolong my grief. But if I knew I'd have allowed it, I'd have stayed with my child for as long as I wanted. They would have allowed me. And then they asked me if I have plans on how to bury the baby, or the hospital to take care of it. And I told them, just take care of it. I was not prepared for anything. I did not even know you're given rights to bury your child when you have a stillbirth in hospital. So again, we need to equip women with all this information. So I held the baby, said kwaheri. They wrapped her very well. And then I signed the documents to have the hospital dispose the baby. And I was now working the process with the doctors, now asking for answers. What happened? And they could not tell me. They could not find any reason. But I remember the doctor told me, your baby was very big, because at 34 weeks, she was already 3.5 kgs. And then, but they said, we'll do a number of tests after you go home. You come back after 1 week, we do a number of tests. One of the tests was blood clot. The other one was gestational diabetes, which they could not rule out. They could not even find answers on this, because now with gestational diabetes, what happens is when you're pregnant, the placenta produces hormones that interfere with the work of insulin. The work of insulin is to regulate blood sugars in the body. So when the work of insulin is interfered with, it does not regulate. So you find you either have very high sugar levels or very low sugar levels. Now, when you're pregnant, your baby feeds through your blood system. So when your sugar levels are high, that means your baby is feeding on very high sugar levels. And that was the case. That was the case in my case, if that makes sense. And so when the baby is feeding on a lot of sugar, is ideally is like the baby is feeding on junk. So atakuwa mkubwa sana kwa tumbo. And when you have gestational diabetes and it is not detected in the right time, you either give birth to a very big baby, like in my case. You can either lose the baby while in the womb, like my case also. She was very big and she died in the stomach. In the womb, kainaongea kama Kikuyu. because they don't have much space to even move around. They can even tie themselves with a cord and not be able to untie. Then the other case is you could lose, you could give birth to a live baby and lose the baby immediately because she was used to being fed on a lot of sugar in the womb, and then once you give birth, it's not the case. So now I was taking you back because I was saying they tested for gestational diabetes after and they could not tell it, because once you give birth, the placenta imetoka, hormones inaendanga, so the sugar levels go back to normal. So gestational diabetes only happens when you're pregnant. Once you give birth, inapoteanga. And so I went into a period of mourning and grief. I did not report to work, and of course, being the person I am in the limelight, I had to publish because I wanted to go for a sabbatical. I made the post on social media telling guys that, yo, I lost my baby and I'll be going for a period, a break, and women were very supportive. And the other thing is that I got now into a community of other women who came to share their stories with me because I had shared mine. And they told me, oh, I've lost, oh, I've done, oh, this and this, I've been trying, I cannot. Yeah, so I met so many women who shared in the pain then, and I was happy to work with some of them and share with most of them. The most important thing is to share. Once you share and people relate, the process of healing becomes easy. So I went into a period of mourning and grief. I took a break from work. And first thing I did was go for therapy. The hospital had asked me if I'd like them to recommend their therapist, but because it's something I had started way before, I told them I have my own therapist who I'd like to continue seeing. And so I did a few sessions with her. I traveled to Oljororok. I did not know Oljororok is that beautiful. And then came back and resumed work after 1 month. Then, of course, now the doctor, we went, did all the tests we did for blood clot, and I can't remember the other tests. And the doctors advised that the best way to somehow fill the void is to try and conceive immediately. It will help with the healing process. I was very scared to try again, but then again, it was the only way I was going to fill the void. I got so many triggers. I still do. When people close to me lose babies, it triggers me so much. I remember there was a time, that was in September. I lost my baby in September 2021. So that New Year's Eve, that December, I had gone to a concert in Tigoni, and these babies were coming to say hi to their favorite auntie wa YouTube. And I have never, I cried so much on that day. Because it was more of I wish it was my own child coming to tell me how happy I make them, and it was other people's kids. I cried. There were innocent kids just coming to appreciate me, but I was so triggered. I did not even know losing a child or seeing other women pregnant would trigger me. I'd see women walking pregnant, and I was like, Yani God, you let me carry my baby for 34 weeks, 6 weeks shy to term, and just took her. I was so triggered. Nilikuwa na maswali mingi sana. I could not get answers, of course. But if there's something losing my child did to me, it made me accept death. It made me accept that death is the only sure bet in life. That's where we are all headed. The only it's not even unfortunate. There is no, hakuna mahali inakuwaga imeandikwa ati tunafaa kukufa at this age. Yes, kuna ile imeambiwa sijui 70 years, but it comes at any point of someone's life. So that is what my baby's losing my baby made me accept. So fast forward to March of 2022, I conceived again. I did not know. I was very scared and I was in denial. So again, I missed my period, tested. The kit was in, the test kit came invalid. I was like, oh, I cannot be pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I can see it's invalid. In my mind, I'm like, hiyo ni invalid, ni kumaanisha siko pregnant. But I went for the blood test, and the lab technician confirmed that, yeah, indeed you're pregnant. So now this was the hardest pregnancy ever. Remember, like I said, my pregnancies are non-dramatic. I don't have any morning sickness or anything. But this one now, the only problem was the trauma of carrying a baby and losing again after losing the other one. But I was very keen on my clinics. I would go to the clinic every week. Hata daktari ananijua. Every week I'd go there to a ready center and tell them, please check if I am okay. Please check if my child is okay. And we did all the tests in good time. When we clocked 24 weeks, went tested for gestational diabetes, confirmed it was positive. I went into the diabetes center. They explained to me very well. And this is now where I say information is power. Because from that day on, the way I explain gestational diabetes to people, they are like, kwani umesomea hiki tu? So and it's something I'm picking up and I keep telling women is equip yourself with as much information as possible when you get pregnant or when you're planning to get pregnant. It will save you a lot of costs, number one. It will save you a lot of mental stress. And number two, it will give you a lot of surety. The other thing is always go for second and third opinions. This doctor will tell you this. Remember, we also have doctors who are quacks who just are doing things for money. The other day, my friend was telling me that her sister went to hospital because there was some water dripping. And the doctor, he hasn't tested anything, hajamfanyia pap smear, anamwambia yo, we need to induce you, hiyo ni kumaanisha amniotic fluid yako imetoka na mtoi sahi hayuko. And she was so scared. By then she was crying. So her sister told her, go for a second opinion from another doctor, usikie vile atakwambia. The other doctor, they went, she was tested, they did all the tests, and she was okay. Everything was okay. I think she was sweating, ilikuwa ina drip sana, na huyu daktari was ready to take away her child. So I'm like, how many more children have we lost because of such medical practitioners? I'm not saying all. There are some who are good and there are some who are also doing it for the money, not for anything else. So have all the information and prepare for your child, both not both financially, mentally, physically. Make sure you're ready all round. People used to tell us, I used to see women, well-up women saying you need to prepare for birth and for being a mother. I did not understand because our parents did it so effortlessly. But look at the trauma we had. Look at the childhood traumas we are fighting now. So if you're able to prepare before in all aspects of your life, it will be good for you and for your child and for their children. So go back now to, I tested and I confirmed I had gestational diabetes. So the next thing was to learn what is this, how do we go about it. The first thing I was told is you can control it with diet. Sawa. So how do we go about it? Make sure you have more veggies in your plate, reduce the sugar levels, do more of reduce your carbohydrates, make sure you do more fruits and veggies. If you must do sugars, kama yogurt nilikuwa nakunywa tule tudogo. Kama ni matunda unakula one type. Don't do the fruit salad the way we are used to, na tunasema we are eating healthy. Just do one type of fruit at a time. And so we tried regulating it with the diet. It didn't work. So I was told we have to introduce now the medication. We started with a small one. I think it was 500 grams. I tested. So we started with the, I can't remember the name. I think it was glucophage or something. Started with 500 grams, didn't work. So I was given a higher dose. So, and then these days we have small gadgets that you can test your sugar levels at home. So I tell people I had so many holes in my fingers because I used to test 9 times every day. Before breakfast, 1 hour after breakfast, 2 hours after breakfast. And then again, 1 hour before lunch, 1 hour after lunch, and 2 hours after lunch, 1 hour before dinner, 1 hour after dinner, and 2 hours after dinner. So kila siku nilikuwa nachagua kidole, nasema leo ni hii, tuna prick, tuna test, and then I record. If they go above the recommended levels, I call my doctor or I go to the hospital the next day. Good thing is we were able to manage throughout the pregnancy, and then, but the doctor knew because they could tell it was very traumatizing. Actually, before we even tested for diabetes, when I did my 12 or 8 weeks test, there was some blood in my I can't remember the name of the part. Nikikumbuka nitawambia. There was some blood inside the womb, and the doctor told me it's normal. So what we'll do is we'll give you medication to do away with that. I was given what is the name of the male hormone? Progesterone. I was given some male progesterone tablets. I was told to insert, and then it will make sure that that blood clears. Hey, mimi kuambiwa kuna damu, oh, I started crying. Yani the mind can really mess you up, because I was overreacting, I was overthinking, and I didn't even hear the doctor tell me you're supposed to insert. Mimi nilienda kama nalia, nikapiga simu nikasema nimeambiwa mtoto atakufa tena. So I swallowed the medication instead of inserting for a whole month. So I went back to the hospital for the doctor to see whether the blood had cleared. And he asked me, so have you been inserting like we agreed? I told her, you said insert, yeah. I told you, I swallowed. He told me it's still okay, but make sure now the second month you insert. And the blood cleared and everything was okay. Then I think at 12 weeks now is when they test for Down syndrome, for any what is it called? Deformities. And so the doctor asked me, if we test at this level and we find out that your child has any deformities on Down syndrome, would you like to continue with the pregnancy, or what would you advise the doctors to terminate? Because there is that discussion you have with the doctor. And I told the doctor, at this point I don't know what I will do. Let's first test and see what happens. After that I'll be able to make the decision. And just being told that, I started crying and saying my baby has deformities, my baby has Down syndrome, and we've not even tested. So the mind was playing a lot of games, but it is because of the trauma of losing the child. Now, fast forward to when I clocked 30 weeks, the pregnancy was going very well. I'd go to the clinic every week to get tested, where there was a day she didn't kick the whole morning. So I used to have, I was on radio still, so I used to work from 3 to 7. So I'd get on to the studios at 2, 1 hour before. So that day I go to the studio, I was so stressed, my baby hasn't kicked. I told the PC, yo, I need to go to the clinic to be tested. Nikafika, bado nalia, mtoto haja kick the whole day. And then once they kuwekelea tu machine kakaanza kupiga. Pia watoto huwa wanatuchezea wakiwa kwa wakiwa kwa womb. So yeah, but it was good. It was that caution was good. I always say, trust your gut feeling. If you feel it's not okay, just go. You'd rather be told it's okay than just assume it's okay and then find out it was not okay. So clocked 30 weeks, 31, 32, 33. Remember, I lost the other one at 34 weeks. So I told the doctor, I don't know if I'll be able to do beyond 34 weeks. If there's a way we can give birth at 34, I'd be happy to do it. I don't know if I'll be able to, my mind would not allow me. By the way, ungeniona, nilikuwa nimefura. Kuna ile you become, not for everyone, you become puffy because of the pregnancy, na kuna ile excess juu ya pressure na stress. So mi nilikuwa na hiyo. So the doctor told me, yeah, it's okay, we can do that at 30. Once we clock 35 weeks, aliniambia we give an allowance of 1 week, we'll induce you, and then we can go ahead and deliver the baby. Now, the other issue with me is, it's not an issue. I always wanted to do a normal birth. Remember, even with the first baby, I wanted to do a home birth. Not normal. Every birth is normal, a vaginal birth. And so with this one, my biggest fear is CS. Mimi naogopa CS sana. So the doctor was telling me, kept telling me, in case we need to do a CS, please be open-minded. And I told him, it's okay. But can I still push my baby even with gestational diabetes? Akaniambia, since you've already given birth once, it is also very possible for you to push with this other one. Plus, you are a natural. It looks like you will be able to do it. Sawa. So clock 35 weeks, took myself to hospital very early in the morning. Doctor told me, unfortunately, we can't induce you during the day. They induce in the evening. So maybe go back home and come back tomorrow. I told the doctor, I can't. My mind already ilikuwa unazaa leo. If not, itaanza kucheza mind games. So I stayed in the hospital the whole day. Then I was induced in the evening. At about 10 ndio nikaanza kupewa hiyo maji ya kuinduce, and then at 6 a.m. the next day, this was December 6, 2022, my water broke at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I went into now the hardest labor, ile sasa ya kukaribia kuzaa, and then by 12:10 I had my baby. The one thing I was looking forward to is the cry of that baby, because remember, I pushed a still baby the year before. So I was telling people the only healing would be the cry of this baby. And when she cried, I cried. I felt so good. It was the best moment of my life. I held her, I looked at her. She's gorgeous. I look at her every day. I don't believe, I believe in good, I deserve good things, but I keep telling God, this one you blessed me and you overdid it. You showed off with this one. She was beautiful. She didn't have hair. Girls don't have hair. I don't know what's wrong with girls. And yeah, my mother tells me that because she came into the labor ward 5 minutes after I gave birth, she told me niwahosokire, as in uliacha kufura immediately you gave birth. And it is true, I changed immediately. So now remember, with the other baby, because it was a stillbirth, the doctors gave me medication to reverse the milk ndio isitoke isinisumbue sana. So I think because of that, my system had already been set that way, so my milk did not come out immediately, and I had to stay in hospital 2 days extra for the milk to come out. And I'm happy to report that 2 days later, my milk came out and started breastfeeding. Took my baby home after that. I could not wait to go home. In fact, nakumbuka nikiharakisha madoki, I need to go home. I need to take my baby home. Started now the other most difficult but fulfilling job of breastfeeding, of taking care of this beautiful girl, beautiful angel. And yeah, it's been wonderful watching her grow. It's been scary at some point, because again, motherhood has no manual. It's just like life. You don't know where you're going, but you have to keep going. The other thing I tell people is motherhood is one of the biggest classes you'll ever attend. And motherhood is one of those moments where you experience true love. Jana, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and I told her, I trust and I respect every woman who says they do not want to, they don't desire to have children. But if I was asked, I think every woman should give birth at least once in their life. It's the only time you experience true love. I go home every day. Like right now, she's 1 year, 4 months. I go home. Right now, she's independent. She can walk, she can run, she can tell you what, she can guide you to what she wants. When I open the door and she's so happy, you can tell it's genuine happiness. She's happy to see you. And when you're leaving, she's sad to see you. Man, I don't know whether kama kuna true love ingine mtu anaweza feel. So that has been my journey with and in motherhood. I enjoy, I keep learning. I'm working on a foundation right now to equip women with information, majorly to encourage them to prepare for birth and to get information. And I'm also glad that there are other women who are championing for maternal health discussions. I'd like to give a shout out to one Honorable Gathoniwa Mushoba. She recently pushed a bill to Parliament to recognize obstetric violence as a form of abuse that will be punishable by law. I cannot wait to have that ikiwekwa into law, because that's the other thing that we are facing in motherhood and in maternal health. It is something that has been neglected for so long. You hear women telling you how they've been insulted in hospital when they're going to give birth. They've been told these things, those things, not only in hospital, even at home by their caregivers. There was an MP from Tharaka Nithi who told us that in Meru, when you have a miscarriage or when you lose a child through a stillbirth, you're made to sleep sijui with another man who's considered a cleanser in their tribe, to cleanse you of that. That is also part of obstetric violence. When doctors make you sign documents without your consent, it's also part of obstetric violence. When they dispose your child without, because there are women who lose babies through CS, and once you go into theater, because of the medication, because of the ile dawa unadungwa, you're still not okay until after a few hours. Most of those I've interacted with tell me that the moment I came back to my senses, I was already made to sign papers, my baby was taken, I did not even see the baby. So those are some of the things we would like to address, and I'm glad we are getting there. I'd like to speak to mothers in waiting and mothers who've lost. Number one, I'm so sorry. No words can be able to even encourage you or tell you or to support you. So I'm very sorry. Just keep the hope alive. Equip yourself with as much as possible. And so the other bit of preparing for birth, like I said, is unfortunately where we are as a country is our public hospitals are not doing the best. And sometimes I don't blame them because, like, one of our biggest hospitals is Kenyatta National Hospital. Last I checked, they had a bed capacity of 80 mothers, and you find that they have over 200 mothers who want to give birth at a go, and they have like 6 or 8 nurses. So you can imagine the type of workload on these nurses. Even when sometimes they say those things, fine, they're human beings, they shouldn't, they should be very kind and all that. But I also imagine the amount of work that is on them mentally. You can only work, you can only give as much. So if you can, and this is the other bit of financial preparation, if you can plan well financially for the baby, get that medical insurance. People consider it expensive, but the moment you go to a dodgy hospital and the services rendered there, maybe either you end up losing either both, because again, pregnancy is a ticking time bomb where you can lose either both the mom and the child, or you can lose either, and it's the worst. It's the worst thing that can happen to anyone. So equip yourself with as much money as you can, pay for that medical cover so that you can go to the best. If not the best, you can at least get quality medical care during birth, because birth should be the most natural process for any woman, and it should be given, or it should be unafaa kutekiwa care na the best, as we hope and pray that we do better even as citizens, because we are the ones who elect those who are in power right now. So the other thing is to tell you, if you've lost, please walk the mental bit with professionals. Please see therapists. Please talk to them. There's a reason you go see a dentist when you have a toothache. So when you're not mentally well, don't go to just anyone. Don't go to church leaders. No, that's not their work. You go see a therapist. You go see a psychologist. Walk the journey through them. Find a community of mothers also who've lost. I'm happy to refer. You can reach out to me on my social pages. I'm happy to refer you to a few who are currently probably going through that. And hopefully by May, we'll have come up with a foundation so we can form those communities of women. And I'd also like to encourage our adoption centers and our fertility centers to also partner with us. You can also partner with Bun In The Oven. Come offer your services. Come tell them how it is done. Adoption centers are still shy from, talking to the public about the services. When you hear someone is adopting a child, there's still stigma around that. But I think we can do better in educating the public, because there are some women who can't, or there are some men who can't, but they are open to adopting, but they don't know how to go about it because they are shy of what the society and what the family around them will say. And if someone cannot, if someone has lost, the best thing you can do, if you can't say anything sensible, just shut up. Don't say anything. Shut up. Let them deal with whatever they're dealing with. Don't say anything because you've not experienced what they're experiencing. And sometimes you don't need to experience it to be kind. Sometimes just be kind. And finally, to all the mothers who are nursing, I send more grace to you. I know it's not an easy time. More grace to you and your young one. I keep saying every stage does not last. This time she has colic. Next time she's up and down and running. Next time she's up there. She doesn't even want you to be just around them. But it's the beauty of motherhood. At the time when I lost my child, a few other women also lost their children. Some who are also in the public, and it is their sharing that made me share mine, gave me courage to share. But around the same time, we lost one journalist from one media house who had just previously done her baby shower. She lost her baby on a Monday, and I remember she had done her baby shower on the previous Saturday or Sunday, and the only thing people were talking about was baby showers. They did not condone with the family. They did not, and especially women, they did not say how sorry they were because of that. They only talked about baby showers. They were like, we need to talk about these baby showers. Women, you need to stop showing off your baby bump. I'd like to share, and this is my opinion. This is not anyone's opinion. This is my opinion. You can never hide a 9 months pregnancy. You can't. For crying out loud. Kwanza kwa Kikuyu kuna saying, si usema, Deate guo. That's it. That is to mean once it shows off, that's it. You cannot hide. Number 2, mwache kupatia shetani nguvu sana. Mwache kusema ati ehe, ukisha show baby bum yako umeattract macho mbaya. But kwani God, the God we pray is not as powerful, because you keep saying you attract bad eyes, oh, watu wanaenda wanakuombea mtoto wanakufa. Kwani the mother does not pray to a God who can protect your child? Yo, it is 2024. We need to move. We need to move. We need to stop with those, oh, ulifanya baby bump shoot, sijui ulifanya nini ndio uka-attract. No, come on. We can do better. Let's equip. Instead of doing that, let's encourage women to go for clinics. Let's encourage women to go for information. Let's encourage women to and also share their stories. I mean, when you see someone showing her baby bum, let her be. She's beautiful. She's carrying beautifully, and she wants, and it's her opinion, it's her choice to post. But don't go shaming women who've lost children because they did baby showers. Let's not go shaming women because walifanya whatever ati walijiattractia hizo. Again, still on baby showers, let's start doing them differently. Let's have doctors in these baby showers. Let's have midwives in these baby showers. Aside from the gifts na kumach nguo, let's also make them very informational, sasawa, so that even as we are celebrating her, we are also equipping the mother to be.